So, Kisara, once this fight is all over, I'm guessing you plan on heading back to Vicente?
Yeah. I've seen and learned so much traveling Dano with you all. I want to see those lessons applied back home. Hopefully I can use that knowledge to help reform Menancia even further, so it can be a model to other realms. What about you, Alphen? What's your plan?
That's a good question. I think I would be happy just to be able to put my fighting days behind me and live a calmer, more peaceful life. Granted, all I've ever known is how to swing a sword. I'm not sure that switch will be so easy. Still, as long as I have somewhere to come home to, somewhere with a roof and 4 walls without any holes in them, that'll be good enough for me. It would be a home with enough food to make sure I don't go hungry, and a warm bed at night so I don't freeze. It wouldn't have to be anything fancy.
You've always been modest like that. But you're forgetting something else that makes a home. Family. What if you and Shion...
I'd hate to make this conversation all about me. Is there anything you want for yourself once things are over?
For myself? I've never really thought about it. Well, there is one thing I can think of. I don't know if I should say it, though.
Yeah?
I want a fishing pond.
Really?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while now. I love fishing, but it's always been such a process to actually do. You always have to make all these preparations before you go out and fish. It'd be nice to have a place I could visit without that hassle. Dig a pond, fill it with water, and get some fish for it. If I could do that, I wouldn't have to worry about Zougals, and everyone could use it.
You really do love fishing if you're even thinking of ways to help other people enjoy it.
I do. Just don't tell him I said any of this, okay?
Him? You mean Dohalim? True. If he caught wind of it, it might turn into a way bigger project than it really needs to be.
Not only that, he's still determined to make Vicente's residents happy. But personally, I feel his power would be better put to use elsewhere. So if I ever get around to making my fishing pond, I'd rather do it on my own.
Well, if you ever need help, don't hesitate to ask. I don't know my lures from my rods, but I can definitely help with any manual labor you need.
That's sweet of you to offer. I think I'll take you up on that. And then, with the fish I catch there, I could treat everyone to special home-cooked dinners. I'm getting excited already just thinking about it. I suppose I never realized until this conversation that I had any dreams like that for myself. Thank you, Alphen.
You worried about what's going on with Menancia?
What makes you think that?
Well, you were speaking to Kisara earlier, weren't you?
It's rude to listen in on others, you know.
Sorry. I didn't hear what you two were actually talking about, though. I just figured it was Menancia since it was the two of you.
I am but a former lord who has abandoned his post. I'm no longer in a position to lead the realm in any capacity whatsoever. Yet Kisara still seeks out my opinions, knowing full well that is the case. This despite the fact I am no longer her master either.
Couldn't it be precisely because you're not her master anymore? It's natural for friends to want to hear each other's opinions.
I hadn't considered that possibility.
It's funny what you miss sometimes.
Hardly uncommon among artistic types such as myself. When lordships are decided based solely on one's astral energy, it can lead to funny results.
But even so, you still took your job as lord seriously, didn't you?
Certainly. I learned to perform my functions. However, I was less interested in ruling, so much as avoiding life and death decisions. Of course, such a mentality in the end led only to sickening pain and death taking place elsewhere out of sight. I pretended not to see or hear any of it, content to let our supposed peace and equality keep me blind and deaf to reality. I was a fool.
But you're making amends.
I would like to think so. The path ahead is dark, yet I still walk on. I merely pray that I shan't fall down any holes along the way.
I wanted to ask you something.
I'm all ears.
How much contact did you have with the other lords back in the day?
I only saw or exchanged words with them on a handful of occasions. Not that I was particularly keen on even that much.
Almadria made it sound like the two of you had some kind of history together.
She was like that with all of the lords, not just me. She was always interested in who she could use, who had value for her own ends. Having said that, she wasn't quite so brazen back when we were still in Lenegus. In a sense, she may have been a victim of the crown contest as well.
Almadria? A victim?
To a Renin, there is no greater honor in life than being chosen to serve as a lord, let alone to go on and become the next sovereign. We are taught that from the day we leave the womb. There are few Renins who wouldn't be ecstatic at the prospect of ascending to lordship.
You were like that though, right? You've always struck me as a more grounded guy.
No sane Renin would ever dare admit that their interests lie in anything but power and prestige, even if they feel so in their heart of hearts.
The more you talk about it, the more it seems like the crown contest is nothing but misery for Renins, too.
Which is why I seek to end it. Not that I imagine Danins such as Rinwell are all that interested in hearing tales of woe such as mine.
Another fine day for journeying, huh?
Tell me, do you ever find yourself tiring of the vagabond existence?
It's better than being enslaved, that's for sure. I get to pick my own destination, for starters. You don't get those luxuries as a slave.
Shackle a man's feet, and you put a clamp on his heart as well.
Then there was the food. Gross slop that left you in a permanent state of hunger. Ugh, you wouldn't believe the things I ate to keep from starving. What about you? This must all sound pretty alien to someone who used to be a lord.
Is that a hint of interest in my past I detect?
I guess that's one way to put it.
Well, certainly starvation was never a concern I had to contend with. The day-to-day grind was largely taken care of for me. I even had help getting in and out of clothes. All that was required of me was standing still while looking solemn.
That's quite the downgrade you've made. It's a wonder you don't sound more bitter.
This might surprise you, but I actually don't find our current situation all that disagreeable. My own hardships paled in comparison to yours, granted. But life as a lord came laden with its own restrictions. Forgive me. Such complaints must sound like feeble extravagances to a Danon.
True, Renin opulence doesn't feature high on my sympathy list. Then again, yours isn't exactly a normal case.
I suppose it's not. Sometimes, I can't help but wonder how much easier life would have been without the trappings of nobility.
You really mean that?
Pay me no heed. Not but the ramblings of a privileged eccentric. Whatever my past, it has led to my being here. That is all the reality I need concern myself with. Would you perchance be interested in going on a walk together?
Why? You're not on guard duty for another few hours.
Which is why I want to walk. To hear the music in these parts.
Music? Where are you going to find musicians all the way out here?
There's more to music than what people play. It's in the grass, fluttering in the wind, the leaves in the trees, and the songs of birds and insects. Once you open your ears, you'll find that music is truly everywhere in this world.
What sounds like music depends on who's listening, huh? It's an interesting idea, but I think it might be a little too difficult for me. Speaking of music, whatever happened to your instruments? You used to be a musician, didn't you?
Those are well out of my reach at this point. That aside, I don't feel that I yet have the right to play any of them again. You could say that it is in part my way of atoning for that which I have failed to do over the years.
Meaning that you haven't completely given up on making things right.
Do you think me a fool stuck in the past?
Not at all. In fact, far from it. You sound like you're still holding out hope for a brighter future. Picture yourself being able to play your music again. Doesn't that motivate you to keep going even when things get tough?
I see what you mean. I didn't realize that drive still lingered within me. The darkness in one's heart is sure to manifest in their music. However, I promise you that one day, when that darkness has finally lifted, I shall let you hear me perform.
Well, now that you've said it, you're gonna have to follow through. I look forward to hearing you play. You want some?
Well, I'll be. I'm not accustomed to such offers, but I'll gladly partake. It's quiet tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think there are even any Zougals lurking around for once. Is this one of those times where people would start playing music?
My, have our talks sparked an interest in such arts?
I wouldn't go that far. But from what I've seen, there's a lot more to life than just swinging swords and getting into fights all the time.
You wouldn't have gone without that knowledge for so long, had we Renans not pillaged your planet. Words cannot express how sorry I feel.
300 years of bad blood is too much to lay on one person's feet. That's something a man I admired once said.
I appreciate the sentiment. I pray that once all of this fighting is over, you'll be able to finally find a purpose for yourself, other than simply fighting.
You know, it's strange. I haven't given much thought about what I'm actually going to do with my life once our quest is all over. The only thing I've ever been good at in life is swinging my sword around and hitting things.
Then perhaps it's time for you to begin to contemplate what else you wish to do in life.
Aside from fighting... I guess you've got things like your music and antique collecting to look forward to after all.
Well, I'm sure you have other interests as well. From what I can tell, you seem to be rather interested in weaponry and Renan machinery, yes?
I'm only interested in weapons when it comes to how easy they are to use. And as for technology, I don't know a damn thing about it.
If you have the interest, you can always learn. Being able to understand and create technology that supports and improves lives is always valuable.
I'm not sure I'm cut out for studying. You're right, there's stuff I wouldn't mind knowing more about, but...
That was merely a hypothetical example. My point is that sometimes you can find the answer in the things that you like and already do.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, I know. If we're talking about things I like, what if I tried opening a spicy food restaurant?
Not bad. Although your customer base may be limited.
I feel bad making you my life coach when I originally just wanted to drink together.
Think nothing of it. It is the least I owe you. My life wouldn't be what it is today had you and your friends not come to Vicent. In fact, I think I may owe you all more than I could ever hope to... Alphen?
Is that owl okay? It's been stiff as a board for a while now.
You're right. I wonder what's up with it. Come here. It's okay. I won't hurt you. Crap!
Huh? What happened?
I hate to say this, Rinwell, but I lost Hootle. I didn't mean to scare him, but he took off.
Hootle? He's right next to you.
He is? All I see is snow.
Dan and owls conceal themselves when they feel threatened. I guess he's still not quite used to being around other people yet.
That would explain it. I should have been more careful with him. Sorry.
It's fine. I'm the only human he's comfortable with. Come here, Hootle!
Damn, he was that close?
He's just a little wary of you. I think he gets that you're going to be with us for a while, though. Step in the right direction. If you call his name, he might eventually respond at least.
Got it. Thanks.
At least he's not sick or something.
Indeed. That's quite a relief.
All of creation across the heavens stems from the 6 essences. We lack only darkness while they are without light. Thus, to achieve perfection...
What are you muttering over there?
I was practicing a magic incantation.
An incantation? Is it anything like the spells that people use today?
Not quite. It takes time for me to finish my chants, so I'm practicing saying them quickly and accurately. You know, just in case. I've always tried my best never to use magic if I can avoid it up until now.
You said you and your family used to live in hiding, right? Because you were a mage. Where did all the other mages go? Sorry, I didn't realize it was such a sensitive topic.
It's okay.
So I get that you perform a certain type of astral arts, but why does your magic look so different from what Renan's use? Is it a different source or something?
I'm not exactly an expert on how Renans cast magic, but we both manipulate astral energy to create it. We just channel that energy in different ways.
Like how you chant your spells, whereas they throw out those weird symbols?
Yeah, and just like how there are different ways to use a sword, there are elemental differences between us too. For example, light is only in Dana, and darkness is only in Rena.
Ah, alright, that makes sense. So let me ask, does that mean you can't use any dark magic at all? Or that they're just more attuned to it?
Basically not at all, since I don't have any dark energy inside my body. There might be an indirect way to tap into it, but I wouldn't know. I didn't learn everything that my family knew about magic, so it's hard for me to say for sure.
Fair enough. Thanks for teaching me all that. I really do appreciate it.
Sure thing.
Ah! Sorry, Shion. My foot slipped. Are you all right?
I should be asking you. What am I saying? Of course you're okay. It's easy to forget sometimes. If anybody else had been in your place, they'd be howling right about now.
Huh? Oh, right. You mean your thorns. Yeah, I'm, no worse for wear over here. Again, sorry for brushing you like that without warning.
Well, just be careful. Hey, Alphen?
Hmm?
Forget it. It's nothing. I'm sorry to bother you.
Oh, okay.
What's with those two?
'87! 88! 89! Oh, shoot!
What the? Is the enemy attacking?
Sorry about that. You're not hurt, are you?
Law? What on Dana are you doing?
What am I doing? Training, obviously. I found these nice and heavy rocks that I decided to strap onto my arms, but I guess I didn't tie them down good enough because they went flying.
So you were doing improvised weight training. You and your crazy ideas.
I can't help it. If I'm not training, it's easy for me to get anxious.
Well, that's fair. Actually, I remember seeing you practicing your forms for some time when we were camping the other day.
Yep. No amount of muscle will do you any good if you don't stay on top of your fighting forms. It always feels good when I know I'm still sharp.
Sounds to me like you have too much pent-up energy.
Don't train so hard that you wind up hurting yourself, Law. I promise you, you're already perfectly strong as it is.
No, I'm not. You never know what we'll run into out there. You can never go into a fight too prepared. And that's the truth. Besides, I won't rest until I know that I'm stronger than you, Alphen.
Oh, I see how it is. Well, I don't plan on letting you beat me. Maybe I'll add some weights to my sword and practice swinging it. That should help out.
Alphen! dolphin, are you crazy?
You're right. This does make for decent training. Good call with the extra weight law.
Right? Now you get it?
Since we've already come this far, what do you say we have a little one-on-one with our rocks strapped on?
Hell yeah! I'm down for that. Just give me a second, I'll be all ready to roll. Okay, I'm all set. Let's do this!
Ha!
Take this!
I'm just getting started.
Our camp is completely wrecked!
Go. You two are cleaning it up.
Yes,
Shion. Interesting. All we ever got was a tattered blanket, a rock-hard bed, and well past its prime food.
What are you talking about?
What we got for our slave labor back in Calaglia. As you can tell, it wasn't much at all. Here, the Danans get the same basic amenities, but the quality is way better than anything we were given. Hell, apparently they even get time off to do what they want. If I'm being honest, I'm not sure how to take all this in.
Could it be that things were simply harsher in Calaglia compared to everywhere else?
It was the same in Cyslodia, too. Our buildings and clothing were equipped to handle the cold, but that was the only difference. Working the floodlights was a form of punishment, so we didn't really get rewarded for anything that we did.
Yeah, you could be assigned to fix food or make daily necessities too, but when all was said and done, most of that stuff went to the Renans. There wasn't much in the way of compensation for any of that, so I'd say that Cyslodia and Calaglia were both pretty awful.
And Elda Menancia really is unusual.
To say the least. Hell, I might even go so far as to call it crazy. But the fact remains, Danans aren't free here.
Yeah, no matter how happy they look, they're still slaves.
I don't even know what to think right now. This is all way too much to deal with. It's giving me a headache. So let me ask you something, Rinwell. Hootle and Miguel's cat are both animals native to Dana, right?
Right, and Zougals definitely aren't.
Well, duh. Those things are too hideous to be from here. Not that owls are any better.
Hmm?
Ah! Ow! Ow! I take it back! I love owls! Owls are the best! I swear!
Hootle's pretty cute, I'll admit. But I've also been rather partial to cats, too. What about you, Shion?
Huh? Who? Me? Well, I guess... I like them both. Nothing. I didn't say anything. Either way, the more I think about it, I've never heard of anyone keeping Zougals as pets.
Is it because Renans only use them for practical purposes?
Yeah, that could be the reason. They were originally created to serve as beasts of burden, so to speak.
Hey, can you guys quit standing around and get him to leave me alone? I'm begging you!
Yes! I caught a big one.
Is that even a fish? It's rather enormous for one, is it not?
Of course it is. It's an Orim arowana, a freshwater species that makes its home in these parts.
It's quite the impressive specimen. Why, I don't believe we ever had anything so large for dinner back at the palace.
That's because a fish like this is way too big to put on display at a formal dinner, let alone one for a sitting lord.
You catch a giant fish, and all you can talk about is how you're going to eat it?
What's wrong? You like eating too, don't you, Law? I can guarantee a fish this big is going to make for a good meal.
Well, when you put it like that, I guess I am a little excited to dig into it and see how it tastes.
Moments such as this are a good reminder of what I would have missed out on. I'm glad I decided to join you all on this journey. I may have once been a lord, but in truth, my insight into this world was rather limited. And that is, despite the myriad opportunities lordship ostensibly affords.
Wish every Renan was as self-aware as you. Maybe then things wouldn't be so bad.
Indeed. When I say Menancia was beyond lucky to have you as its lord, I really mean it. I'd even say it was miraculous. Now, as for that fish, I'm thinking I'll make some steaks out of it tonight.
Oh, that sounds good. I can't wait.
Miraculous. That's hardly the word I would use to describe myself.
Wow, I can't believe you caught another amazing fish!
Yeah, no kidding. I had no idea there was anything like that even swimming around in the... Kisara?
Huh? Oh, hey, Rinwell, Alphen.
Why the long face? Not happy with your haul?
Are you not sure how you want to cook it? If you don't mind it being grilled, I'd be happy to do it for you.
No, it's nothing like that. Here, take a look at this. It's a golden catfish.
A golden catfish? Is there some kind of problem with it or something? It's not like it's poisonous or anything, right?
My brother Miguel told me something about catfish once. He said, when you find a big one, it's an omen. And with a catfish this big, I'm just hoping it isn't a sign something bad's coming our way.
Are catfish like that supposed to be bad omens?
Not necessarily, but you know how these things go. Omens usually don't pop up to warn you of when good things are coming.
Well, think of it like this. Omens just mean that change is coming. And in this case, it's change that all of us are going to bring.
Totally. We're trying to overthrow the big bad Renans. If that's a bad omen for anyone, then we're gonna make sure it's for them.
Huh. I never thought of it like that. Then I guess you could say this fish is Miguel's way of telling us that he's with us. That we can do this.
We're going to build a future for Dana that's as bright as that fish.
You bet we will.
What a gorgeous fish you caught. It almost looks a little like a gemstone. It's breathtaking.
It's called a Cobalt Trout. They're actually tremendously rare. I never thought I'd catch one for myself.
I wonder how it tastes.
What?
Look at how big it is. Its growth must have been pretty unusual. Maybe it absorbed some water astral energy or something.
Mutated fish are known to be pretty cautious by nature. It's possible it turned out this way after years of avoiding human contact.
We're still going to eat it though, aren't we?
Come on, we don't have to eat it, right? I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of other fish we could catch later.
Yeah, I guess.
No way. You should always eat whenever you get the chance. You never know when the enemy will strike next.
That's true.
What kind of fish is that? It's such a pure white.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It reminds me of Hoodle's wings.
Oh. Judging from the color of the scales, I'd say it's a Cygnai piraruku. They say it swims so elegantly that it's like a bird flying underwater.
Wow, that must be beautiful. I'd love to see it for myself.
That may be a tall order. The piraruku doesn't like to show its face very often. Speaking of which, what exactly is Hoodle doing over there?
Whoa! He's snapping up all sorts of little fish right out of the water!
Ugh! Hoodle, stop! What do you think you're doing?
Do owls even like to eat fish? I had no idea.
He'll eat them, sure. But that's not the point. I have no idea why the heck he would catch so many.
Maybe it's all a business plan. He thinks if he brings enough fish, he can trade them for this albino piraruku and eat the whole thing himself.
Seriously?
It's okay, Hoodle. It's a big fish. There's plenty for you to eat too, okay?
You heard her, Hoodle. Lucky you.
But since he went out of his way to catch so many fish, might as well cook those up too. I wasn't sure if I'd actually reel it in, but somehow I did.
That was intense. It looked like you were practically dueling with the fish.
Yeah, I kept thinking your rod was going to snap in half the entire time I was watching.
It's a whopper of an armored sturgeon. It wriggled so much I thought my arms would pop out of their sockets.
The fish was all bah, and your rod was all creak, and the water was all splash, 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 splash. But you held your own and reeled it in. It was crazy. You're like a heavyweight fishing champion.
Heavyweight?
Law.
No, I just mean you put your full weight behind the thing.
Law, how about you put your full weight behind zipping your pie hole?
I meant it as a compliment. You know, guys, when you think about it, we've taken out a lot of Zougals. Like, a whole lot.
You can say that again. If one thing's for certain in this world, it's that wherever we go, we'll always end up bumping into them.
Isn't it weird that they're still so plentiful? You don't think the Renans have, like, a ranch where they breed them, do you?
Certainly in all of my years, I've never heard of them constructing such a massive facility on Dana, let alone up in Lenegus.
The only thing I can think of, then, is that the feral ones must be reproducing on their own.
There's also no organized effort on our part to hunt them down, so it's difficult to fully exterminate them.
Exterminate them? Whoa, don't you think that's maybe a little harsh?
What do you mean?
Zougals originally used to be living creatures native to Dana and Rena, right? Being genetically modified isn't their fault.
You're right. Zougals were only created because of us Renans. We altered the original creatures to suit our own ends.
First, people made Zougals, and then we let them go. And now we're trying to kill them because they're a threat. They really have only seen the very worst, huh?
I hope we find a way to be able to live side by side with them one day.
It's a nice thought, but they attack towns and cities. What else are we supposed to do?
Aside from the strays that have gone wild, it's worth remembering that Renans are able to keep them somewhat under control.
If we had distinct territories that didn't overlap, that might reduce the danger they pose.
Well, I guess when you look at it that way, maybe people and Zougals aren't so different after all.
I don't know when it happened, but we sure are hauling a lot of stuff these days.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. Glad to hear I'm not the only one.
We should probably clear some stuff out, like our old weapons we're not using anymore. They must be in pretty bad shape by now.
No way. Those are still good as new with a little polishing. If anything, I'd say all our armor is what's weighing us down.
But that armor's also still good once you fix it up. Besides, better to have too much armor than too little. You can trust me on that one.
Well, what about all these dumb old antiques we're lugging around? If we sell those off, that should lighten our load.
Simpletons such as yourself who can't appreciate the true worth of such things is how precious art vanishes from history.
Pretty art's not gonna save you in a fight, man.
Stop it, you guys! This is no time to...
All I really meant to say is, you can tell how much we've been through by everything we're carrying around. Honestly, that's all.
Oh.
My deepest apologies. It appears that I may have rather overreacted.
Yeah, I guess it's only natural we'd have so many souvenirs by now. I might have been out of line too.
I guess all this stuff really is a sign of how far we've come together.
Yeah, every little piece is its own treasure filled with memories.
You reading over all the enemies we fought until now?
I am. It's only dawned on me while paging through just how many different kinds we've encountered throughout our travels.
Yeah, we sure have seen a lot of weird-looking ones. Plenty with nasty abilities, too.
And it's all meticulously recorded for us to read and reference. You did a very good job writing it all down for us, Rinwell.
But I couldn't have done it without everyone's help, too.
In a way, I guess that makes this book a memento of everything we've seen and done on this journey.
The insight it provides is truly invaluable. With it, we know exactly how to deal with most any enemy we could possibly meet.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. Once you fight something once, you can rely on your muscle memory in the future.
You may feel so now, but hardly anyone is as experienced as we are. For others, this tome remains highly useful.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember you told me I should publish it when it's complete. Do you really think it's possible to see all my work in print?
When you say publish, you mean making the same book again and again and spreading it all over the place, yeah?
In very, very simple terms, sure.
If that's the case, our next priority should be educating the people of Dana.
Educating? You mean like studying and stuff?
That's right, especially learning how to read and write. There are still a lot of Danans who aren't fully literate. It'd be a shame to publish all this great information and have no one able to read it.
I mean, I get by with just the absolute basics, so I don't think it's such a big deal.
There's no need to be shy. Visind offers a lot of educational opportunities tailor-made just for Danans like you.
She's right, you know. They'll beat that knowledge into your mind until it becomes second nature to you.
I think I prefer muscle memory.
It's amazing, isn't it? We've been all over Dana on this journey. Is there anywhere we haven't visited at this point?
Who knows?
I'm being serious.
We're talking about a whole planet here. Isn't it more exciting to just assume there are places we haven't seen yet?
I picked the wrong guy to ask. What about you, Alphen? What do you think?
That's a good question. I figure we visited just about every place civilization has set its eyes on.
So is there anything left for us to see?
That I couldn't say. We are talking about seeing an entire planet.
Yeah, I guess so.
This journey has proven just how little I truly knew our world. There is always more to learn. To assume otherwise would be the height of conceit.
There might well be places that we still haven't discovered yet. And if you ask me, I think that's perfectly fine.
Me too. We don't need to know every inch of Dana to fulfill our mission. Besides, I think there's something romantic about there still being mysteries out there.
I'd say it's part of the fun to imagine whether we'll be the first to uncover those mysteries. Maybe even now there are other explorers who will shed a light in the darkest places.
True. I guess the world's bigger than any of us will ever really realize.
You know, I was just saying the same thing as Alphen. Why does she listen to him and not me?
Sounds like you've still got a lot to learn about the mysteries of a woman's heart as well.
Hey, what's the smoke? Is it an enemy attack?
Seriously, it's making my eyes and throat burn. What the hell is going on?
It's probably some sort of gas. Try not to breathe it in as much as you can manage.
Gas? Those cowards!
Isn't this just cooking smoke?
What kind of food makes your throat burn so bad just from the smoke?
I believe Alphen is...
They're trying to gas Alphen?
What? Those sick bastards! I won't let them get away with this!
Calm yourselves and listen. I was simply trying to say that Alphen is the one cooking.
Oh?
Maybe I should throw in some more spices, just for that extra kick. Yeah, that'll help. Think I'll turn up the heat while I'm at it, too. Oh, crap. The spices burned. Well, at least the meat's coming along nicely. All right. Now, I just flip it over, and then...
Hey, Alphen? What are you doing over there?
Oh, Shion. Perfect timing. I actually just finished roasting up a chicken. Call everybody over so we can eat together. I used a ton of spices, so it's got a good punch to it. Might have overcooked it a little, but it should still taste good.
I'm starting to understand why your food always tastes so damn spicy now.
Hasn't anyone told him that it is actually possible to have too much of a good thing?
If that's the taste he truly wants, far be it from me to contradict. His cuisine is a rather delicate repast.
After mastering countless recipes and gathering enough ingredients to last a lifetime, I finally cooked my greatest, grandest masterpiece! Mabo Curry! This is a specially made, one-of-a-kind batch. It contains only the best combination of spices, chosen after a lot of trial and error.
You're...
Spices.
I think I'll have some later after everyone else. I'm not that hungry right now.
You sure?
It does smell pretty tasty now that you mention it.
The heat from the spices is intense, but not persistent, so it's easy to go back for seconds.
You're making a good case for your curry, Alphen. What the hell? Serve me up!
Oh wow, this is actually good.
To be honest, I'm a little scared how my stomach will handle all these spices later. But they really do bring out the flavor.
Indeed. The spiciness has been so finely tuned. Why, I dare say you've made true art, Alphen.
Right? I knew you guys would like it.
Like it? I love it! This is delicious, man!
Law, really? Don't talk with your mouth full.
There's plenty for everyone, so eat as much as you like. You okay, Xion? You're not eating very much.
What's wrong? Do you not like the cheese fondue that you made?
Yeah, I'm used to seeing you more excited about food.
You're not feeling sick, are you?
No, I'm fine. It's nothing like that. It's just...
What?
I guess I just don't understand what the appeal is. We could just as easily put everything on a plate and pour the cheese on top of it instead.
I suppose it lies in being able to decide exactly how much cheese you want. There's also something to be said for enjoying how it all turns out. It's fun.
That's fine and all, but I wish the plate-to-mouth time was shorter.
I think I understand. You don't like having to put in so much effort into eating something, do you?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Actually, now that I think about it, you're a way less fussy eater than you look, Xion.
In my book, there's no one right way to eat a meal. Tuck in, take your time, be dainty or devouring. As long as you enjoy the food, that's what counts.
There's no need to stand on ceremony while we're out camping in the wilderness.
Yeah, you're right. In that case, don't mind if I do.
I've never seen someone dump that much cheese on a meal before. Something wrong? You look like you're deep in thought.
Not exactly. I was merely thinking about you two and your sense of etiquette.
Oh?
Etiquette?
Indeed. To be quite frank, I find your lack of manners to be nigh intolerable.
That's not being frank, that's being Forget it. Do we really need to talk about this now?
Yes. I find such impropriety on your parts to be deeply unsettling. It concerns me greatly.
What do you want us to do? We were slaves. We never got to learn how to be proper like you.
Yeah, what he said. Maybe you missed how we were just focused on surviving.
Perhaps, but Kisara here demonstrates that it's quite possible for a Denon to learn proper manners.
That's because I was given the opportunity to learn. Moreover, my duties as a guardsman required it. Not every realm is like Menancia, as you well know.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to hold us to some other city standards.
Exactly. You've got to remember what it's been like for us living under the Rena elsewhere.
I will concede that you do indeed make a valid point. It would appear, for all my espousing the virtues of equality between our peoples, I was still looking down on the two of you.
You don't need to beat yourself up. I wasn't that offended by what you said, man.
Nevertheless, I shall mind my words from here on out. Having said that, I do believe you two would still benefit from learning the basics of proper society. I would be more than happy to teach you both when we camp out, if you like.
Yeah, no, I'll pass. Acting all prim and proper isn't really my style.
If you say so. How about you, Law? Would you like to learn? Although I suppose my first task is to reform your attitude toward the idea of good etiquette.
You're not gonna let this go, are you?
And this ice cream tastes so good.
I swear, you're always having ice cream, even when it's freezing cold out.
And who made you the food police?
No one. I'm just saying that's a lot of ice cream. Don't you ever, throw up or anything?
Did you really just say that? Try thinking before you talk.
Huh? What do you mean? All I'm saying is I'm just a little worried about you, okay?
Well, don't be. I can have ice cream whenever I want.
You say that, but you know what's gonna happen if you keep eating ice cream all the time.
It's none of your business what I eat or how often.
Arguing over the consumption of a frozen dairy product. Ah, to be young.
Naive might be more accurate.
Hoodle, no, that's mine.
Never thought I'd see you fighting Hootle over food, of all things. Normally, you share everything you have with him.
Yeah, but this is a fancy parfait. Every girl dreams of having one of these.
Is it really that big of a deal?
Please don't bring me into this.
It's always nice to eat something that fulfilling.
I can't believe I actually get to have it all for myself. Every little bite makes me so happy.
But isn't that parfait gonna cost you quite a lot more than your regular ice cream choice?
That's all the more reason for me to enjoy it. Everyone knows it takes lots and lots of sweets to stay full of energy.
Everybody, a cream monster has devoured Rinwell.
At times such as these, it would be best to just let her do as she wishes.
Yeah, definitely.
Dohalim's right. If someone's trying to enjoy their favorite food, just leave them to it and don't bother them.
Yep, can't argue with that.
I don't get women.
So good.
All done. Come and get it.
Oh, did you fix horse sashimi again?
You really like that stuff, don't you, Law?
What can I say? It's easy to prepare however you like.
What makes it so easy to prepare?
It's all about the onion. You can change how you arrange it next to the meat, use less of it, or even take it out altogether.
It sounds as though you simply dislike onions.
I don't dislike onions. All I'm saying is the flavor of the meat changes depending on what you do with the onion.
While that's true, somehow I get the feeling you just don't want to admit you're a picky eater.
I agree. Here, you can have all my onions. Maybe you'll discover some new flavor for this dish you've never had.
Just don't. That's. Rinwell, stop.
Well then, how does it taste?
All I taste is onions.
What's wrong, Law?
Why do I gotta have a vitamin smoothie?
Because you've been eating nothing but meat lately. Your body needs vegetables to stay healthy.
Yeah, but does it have to be so concentrated?
It's better that way. Even if you hate vegetables, all you have to do is drink it. It's a quick and easy way to get more nutrients.
Like you're one to talk. You'll have anything as long as it's spicy.
Which that vitamin smoothie isn't. I know its taste leaves a little to be desired, but once you get used to it, it's not so bad.
This sludge isn't gonna make me less hungry.
I don't know. If you downed 10 of them, I bet you'd start feeling pretty full.
Are you trying to turn me into an herbivore or something?
If I were you, Law, I'd drink it down sooner rather than later. It's going to start tasting bitter if you let it get warm.
It's already bitter when it's cold.
Come on, Law. It's good for you. Quit complaining and drink it already. All right, it's done. Apologies for the wait, you guys.
That's a lot of fish you've cut up again, Kisara.
That's because I caught so many earlier. If you're going to eat them, it's best to do it while they're still fresh.
Was it difficult slicing up that many fish?
No, I'm used to it. It's no big deal for me at this point.
I know I probably shouldn't be saying this after all the trouble you went through, but I've never really understood the appeal of sashimi.
Oh, I'm sorry, Law. I didn't realize. I only make it because it's an easy way to deal with big catches when I fish.
You haven't done anything wrong, Kisara. Law, if you don't like the flavor, you're always welcome to add some of my spices to it.
Hey, yeah, that might work. I'll just put some of this here.
What's wrong, Law? I've never seen someone jump up and sprint off that fast.
He ran as soon as he took a bite of that sashimi.
Was he crying because of the taste?
I don't think the sashimi is the problem here, guys.
Dohalim, your spare bracers were getting dirty, so I polished them up along with the rest of your equipment.
Why, thank you, Kisara. I greatly appreciate that.
Maybe it's just my imagination, but you sure seem to fuss over Dohalim a whole lot, Kisara.
It is a little strange. Almost like you're still in his service.
Really? That's certainly not my intention. Besides, he's not the only one I'm like that with. Hey, Law, I saw your clothes were starting to get holes in them, so I stitched them back up for you.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Kisara.
Point taken. Do you just like looking after people?
I wouldn't go so far as to say I like it, but I get anxious if I don't. I'd always like to help if I can. It comes naturally to me. Back in the day, Miguel and I used to look after the younger kids a lot, so that's probably where it comes from. He taught me everything I know, and I mean everything. How to cook with wild plants, how to sew clothes so they'll last. Without him, we never would have been able to survive.
However, you're not a lord anymore, Dohalim. You need to get used to the idea that people aren't just going to wait on you hand and foot.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm ashamed to admit that I felt no qualms about her doing all that for me. As both a Renan and especially as a lord, one becomes too accustomed to those beneath you tending to your every need, both Renans and Danans alike.
Sure, that's how all you Renans are probably raised. But just to be clear, we're not your servants, Dohalim. Got that?
Absolutely. Moments such as this provide me with ample opportunity to confront my unease. It is difficult to tend with my own motivations.
What do you mean?
The truth of the matter is that my espousal of coexistence in Menancia hardly came from an idealistic place. That instinctive unease I feel deep within serves as a reminder for what it is that all of us here fight for.
Don't be so hard on yourself. No one's going to abandon you if you aren't always perfect.
Looking at her now, I think she's more like his mom than his servant.
Well, how's it taste?
The meat is just the right texture and firmness. You can easily taste all of the ingredients that went into it.
I'm impressed you can cut up such a huge fish.
The basic procedure doesn't really change whether a fish is big or small. All it takes is practice.
Still, I feel a little bad eating this fish. It's supposed to be a pretty rare species, isn't it?
I'm the type who fishes for food first and foremost. Once I catch something, I cook it up with care so it doesn't go to waste. Don't worry, I took an imprint of it for posterity before I turned it into steak.
The meat is so thick. It almost reminds me a little of beef.
What's the difference? Isn't it all meat at the end of the day, regardless of where it comes from?
Says the guy who always complains about it not being red meat whenever we have fish.
Look, as long as it tastes good, I don't care what it is.
Even vegetables?
I'm talking about meat!
It looks thick because that's how big the fish was. There's still plenty to go around, so feel free to have more if you want it.
Sure, I'll take another slice.
Better grab it while you can, everyone. Wow, that's some weird-looking meat you're cooking up there. What is it exactly?
That would be grilled rapig.
What?
Whoa there! What's the big brouhaha?
It's rapig! How could you cook something with such cute little eyes? What did it ever do to you?
I fail to see what the problem is. Rapigs are perfectly edible creatures. Having said that, I do realize it's become rather rare to eat them lately. What with people increasingly embracing them as pets and companions.
They definitely didn't fall out of fashion to eat because of their flavor, that's for sure.
Agreed. Rapigs have tender, fatty meat. The taste can take some getting used to, but I would argue that's part of its charm.
If the taste is too strong, I imagine you can either just cook it thoroughly or simmer it with some herbs to mask it.
Indeed. At first I wasn't sure whether to smoke it with spices or simmer it in water, but I opted to grill it as is instead.
Seriously, Dohalim? You have the weirdest tastes.
That's probably because when you live the life of a lord, you grow tired of most ordinary cuisine.
So you end up seeking out more unusual food. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Well, putting aside what it used to be, you've got to admit it does look pretty damn good. Meat is meat, after all.
That reminds me. I do believe I once read in a book about rare delicacies, how one can go about preparing an owl. I suppose I won't have the chance to try it anytime soon.
Not with Hoodle, you won't!
How are you holding up after that last fight? You're not too hurt, are you?
I'm fine, really. See for yourself.
If things get too tough out there, go ahead and fall back. I can take a beating if I need to.
I'm not here just to stand around and have everyone protect me.
I get that, but there's nothing wrong with admitting you have weaknesses too.
Do I look like I'm just trying to put on a brave face to you?
I can't feel pain, but you still can. Can't you?
Look, I appreciate you're trying to look out for me, but even you go down in fights from time to time. Please, stop trying to babysit me. It's getting old.
It's not that. I just... What's up, Kisara? You look concerned.
Oh, no, it's just... I'm looking at our finances and they seem to have taken a nosedive. I don't remember us making any big purchases, though.
Ah, that may be because I borrowed a small amount to purchase something the other day.
I don't think you can call spending more than half of our money a small amount.
Half? Dohalim, what the hell did you buy?
As it so happens, I came upon a rather special object that I've long been searching for.
Are you talking about that junk? I mean, that unique-looking trinket you're holding?
Whoa, is that a...
Indeed. It is a lost artifact from ancient Danan times. Most likely, it was used for some sort of rite or ritual. Ever since we Renans conquered Dana, such objects have been disappearing. I simply want to do my part to help preserve both our people's storied histories.
Well, if it's to preserve Danan history, then I guess we can maybe look the other way. Just this once?
I don't know. Why spend money on something that won't even keep us fed?
More to the point, we all contribute to that money. I don't like the thought of anyone dipping into it without saying anything.
You must understand. Had I let that opportunity pass me by, I'd never have come across this item again.
Dohalim, maybe no one taught you that money doesn't grow on trees.
I may have been a lord, but I realize that much.
It's not enough to simply realize it. You have to internalize the concept too. Even after all this time, you still have no real sense of money. Our funds aren't your personal wallet. We camp outside and eat grass for dinner to try and stretch every last gold we have. You never know when we may need it.
I don't think we're so poor that we have to eat grass or anything.
Shut up, Alphen.
Shutting.
Let's just agree to not spend too much or be too thrifty for our own good.
Alphen, have you been washing your clothes? It may not be my place to say this, but... frankly, they're starting to stink.
Now that you mention it, it has been a while since I did any laundry.
I'll wash them for you if you want. Just remember to give them to me the next time you get changed.
Oh, okay. Sure. Thanks, Kisara.
And, Law, Rinwell, yours are starting to look a bit ragged.
What do you expect? Of course they're going to tear up when we're out there fighting so much.
Yeah, but it's still kind of embarrassing, having it pointed out like this.
And Shion?
I wouldn't touch me if I were you.
Of course. My apologies. All I wanted to say was that your sleeves are getting a little bit dirty.
You don't need to worry so much, Kisara. It's only natural our clothes are gonna get a little dirty while we're traveling around.
That's no excuse. Your outward appearance says a lot about your inner well-being.
Now you've really set her off.
Suffice to say, it would appear that the traditions of the Guard are still alive and well within her.
What do you mean? What do the guardsmen do that's so special?
Mostly, I'm simply referring to the fact that they're a very regimented and cleanly group of people.
Do I really sound that weird to you guys? Keeping your clothes clean and mended is completely normal to me.
Don't get us wrong. We appreciate the thought, Kisara. But we've got a long journey ahead. It wouldn't hurt to relax your standards. Just a little.
If you're sure. I wasn't trying to overdo it, I promise. However, if it's making the rest of you tense, I'll do my best to tone it down from here on out. Still, if everyone could bring their laundry and clothes they want fixed, that'd be great. I'll take care of it all for you guys tonight.
Don't you ever get tired?
Dohalim, you forgot to take care of the fire yesterday.
What do you mean, take care of? Ah, yes. You meant to put it out?
Yep. If it stays lit, we could end up in real trouble real fast.
I see. I apologize for not realizing that. I shall be more careful in the future.
The way he's talking, it's like the thought of putting it out himself never even occurred to him.
Moving on, Dohalim, I should mention that the clasp for your cape is about to come undone.
Oh yes, I tried to fix that myself, but it simply refused to cooperate with me.
I can't believe I'm hearing this. Are you telling me Renans can't even dress themselves?
Lords like Dohalim have attendants that take care of just about everything they need, so I'm not surprised he sometimes struggles with the basics.
Even by those standards, you've got to admit this is still a little extreme.
Shion has got a point. I mean, you don't see Renans like her needing so much help to get stuff done.
In my case, circumstances forced me to learn how to be independent. Even so, I still think Dohalim could afford to pick up a few more self-sufficient skills.
Well, specifically speaking, what would you suggest that I learn?
For starters, I think it'd be good for you to learn how to dress. And put on shoes. How to comb your hair is equally important. And learning to manage your possessions better. And then from there...
She sounds like his mom rattling all that off.
Oh, and another thing. About your owl, Rinwell.
What is it?
When he starts to molt, would you be willing to give me his old feathers? I think I could find a use for them.
What do you intend to do with those?
Well, recently, I haven't been sleeping well. However, I hear pillows made from owl feathers are very comfortable and wish to make one.
This is why I hate you, Renans!
Did I say something offensive?
Next time, put your own needs aside for a second and think about how someone might react first. Then consider if it's worth asking at all.
You're so amazing, Kisara. You can cook, you can fix weapons. I feel like there's practically nothing you can't do.
Maybe you should take a page out of her book and learn to make yourself more useful then.
I'd be happy to teach you if you want, Rinwell. I learned most everything I know from my brother.
Really? Even how to sew and do laundry?
Yes, indeed. He knew how to do anything.
Sounds like he was a pretty handy guy when he was alive.
He was. I'd always follow him around and badger him with questions. I was a real pain in the neck. Now that I think about it, he and Legil were the ones who taught me how to raise cats, too.
Legil is that woman who was with him in the Gold Dust Cats, right? I remember now. The one with the really pretty hair.
Funny you mention that. He also taught me how to maintain my hair. Not that those lessons stopped it from getting all tangled up during training.
I think it still looks gorgeous.
From what I can tell, it would appear as though the only thing he didn't manage to teach you was how to apply makeup.
No, but that didn't stop him from trying. He really wanted to teach me everything. Only reason he couldn't was because I prioritized my training.
And here I was trying to make a joke.
I can't tell if she's being serious. The only one here who knows him well enough was her.
Yeah, I guess only Miguel could have told us if it's actually true.
Tell me, Alphen, wherever did you learn how to wield a sword?
I was wondering the same thing too, actually. I'm guessing you knew how to fight before you met the Crimson Crows, right?
I used to be a soldier who served a Danon master. I never saw the guy's face, but I still fought for him because he was my employer. Looking back, it wasn't all that different from being a slave.
A Danon master? That must have been before the Renans brought you to Lenegis 300 years ago.
You must fight using real Danon techniques then.
Really? We used to have our own sword arts?
There's a lot of our own history we've lost since the Renans first invaded. It's not all magic and art. I'm sure it includes things like sword styles too. It's incredible and also a little surreal to see those arts still survive after all this time.
Not only that, but I first learned these moves while serving one ruler, only to end up turning my sword on the ruling class altogether. Pretty ironic when you think about it.
I apologize if I dredged up unfortunate memories for you.
Nah, we're good. It's in the past now. All we ever did in those days was stir up trouble.
You're using those skills for a good cause now. It's not all bad.
I suppose this is what people mean when they say that every cloud has its silver lining.
Exactly. He's using those sword skills to make the world better. Could be a lot worse.
True enough. I will stop worrying about mentioning it then.
I always hear you muttering to yourself whenever we're in battle. So, just what are you saying?
Why do you want to know? Does it bother you or something?
Not really. It's just the way you talk is sometimes kind of creepy. So I was wondering if you vent your frustration through your magic. Are you yelling, "You stupid jerk," or something like that to pump yourself up?
What? No, that's not what's happening during my incantations. I'm just focused, so I match my tone to fit the mood of whatever I'm trying to invoke.
Invoke?
How do I put it? Basically, the elemental astral energy behind each art, I guess.
Astral energy? Hold on, are you saying you can talk to astral energy?
Not exactly. But if I put emotion into what I say, it's easier for me to properly cast my arts. That makes sense?
Kind of. Okay, so if you can talk to astral energy, then you can ask it to, like, predict the weather or find secret treasure?
Wait, you don't really think that, do you?
Or you can ask it to send down lightning to where there's bad guys lurking and...
May lightning condemn those who bear false! Thunderblade!
What are you doing? You almost fried me with that!
I just asked the astral energy to send down lightning where there were annoying boys.
I don't know what to do. Things can't go on like this.
What do you mean?
Ah! Oh, it's you, Rinwell.
You were talking about me, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. I've just been thinking about some things.
Really? How unusual.
Cut it out. I'm being serious here.
Sorry.
I was thinking about... You know how I used to work for Ganabelt back when I was in Cyslodia?
Yeah, of course. You were brought in after the Snake Eyes killed your friends, right? I mean, you had to.
Right. I used to have nightmares about it when I fell asleep. But lately that's been happening a lot less. I don't know how to feel about that.
That's a good thing, isn't it? You should be happy.
Yeah, but... I did a lot of terrible things back then. And I'm scared I'm starting to forget what I did.
Okay, so let me just get all of this straight. You think you'll forget everything if you stop having those nightmares? Why?
Because... you know me. I'm freaking stupid.
But it sure doesn't sound to me like you've forgotten.
Oh, yeah, but still.
I don't think those nightmares going away means you've forgotten. Maybe it's a sign that you've come to terms with what you did.
Come to terms? You mean like Alphen with his past? You think that's what's happening?
Yeah, I do. You're pretty amazing, Law.
I am?
Yeah. Not all of us have figured out how to accept our pasts. Least of all, me.
Rinwell. Is it just me, or was today's dinner a little low on salt?
I felt that it was seasoned perfectly, so as to bring out the flavor of the ingredients.
Law's taste buds are still like a kid's, so if his food isn't rich enough, I bet he doesn't feel like he's eaten anything at all.
Don't make fun of me! We all need salt in order to survive!
He has a point. You do lose stamina if you don't get enough salt in your body.
Yeah, I remember seeing people trying to lick the rocks back in Calaglia.
What? Why would anybody do that?
Sometimes you can find rocks out there that taste salty. They used to say it was because of all the tears we slaves shed.
Most likely, that was actually rock salt that they found. When our provisions ran low, Miguel would often bring some back for us to use. At the time, we used it because it's all we had. But now there's something hearty about rock salt I like. Even more than table salt.
Is it possible, perhaps, to find any rock salt in these parts?
It is. You have to know what you're looking for, but when I find any, I always break some up to refill our supply. The flavor even changes depending on what kind of terrain it comes from. Sometimes I end up collecting more than we need, just in case we like it.
Wow, Kisara's really serious about her salt.
You can always count on Kisara to be earnest. That's why we have to do our part and not add any more to her burden.
Okay, whose turn is it to cook today?
Nice try, Law. We all know it's your turn.
Damn, was I that obvious? All right, guess I'll get to it.
Wait, before you get started. Remember when the three of us fixed pancakes back on the farm?
I remember how weirdly proud you were of yours.
Wait, don't tell me you want a rematch.
Oh, no, nothing like that. It's just, I've been thinking about something ever since that day. I used every trick in the book to make the perfect pancake, and yet...
You're wondering why you lost, right?
Pretty sure it's because you pumped Kisara here with enough sugar to give a Zougal a...
Anyways, I've come up with a recipe, and was hoping you guys could taste them and tell me what you think.
All right. I'm up for round 2. Challenge accepted.
Wait, are we all doing this?
Come on. Shion's clearly put a lot of work into this. I'm sure they'll be great. Right, everyone?
Thanks. Okay, wait here. I'll have them fixed up in just a few moments. Thanks for waiting, everyone. Here are your pancakes.
I can't wait. Let's see how they taste. Damn. The way these spices jump about in your mouth, you'd think they'd cancel each other out, but somehow they work brilliantly.
They're so sweet, I feel like they'll melt in my mouth. Every bite makes me feel like I'm in heaven.
Holy crap! These are so rich, just the way I like them! I can't stop stuffing them in my face!
You chose the perfect ingredients and heated them just enough to bring out their flavor. Amazing!
The presentation is simply exquisite, and they have such a pure, refined taste to them as well.
They're
Perfect!
Shion, these pancakes are amazing.
Really? I'm so glad they turned out well.
Although, don't we all seem to have different impressions of how they actually taste?
You're right. It's like everyone was eating something completely different.
Here, let me take a bite of yours, Alphen.
It's true. I fine-tuned them to suit each person's unique tastes.
You did that for everyone's pancakes? That must have been a lot of extra work.
It was, but I learned something important in doing so. You see, I was so focused on trying to make something that I thought would please people that I forgot to consider who I was actually serving.
Here, water!
Thanks, Renwell. I thought I was a goner.
What's important as a cook isn't what I want people to feel about my food. It's about accommodating what they're looking for in a meal.
Well said, Shion. I'm so proud of you for figuring that out. No recipe is complete without love and care for whoever's eating it. Those alone make a dish taste better than any spice could.
So one might say that what makes a meal are both those who prepare it and those who eat it, rather than the food alone. How insightful.
You've grown so much as a cook, Shion. I have nothing left to teach you.
Oh, thank you, Master. Thank you so much.
I never thought about this until now, Alphen, but doesn't it get hot wearing that armor all the time? You feel heat and cold again, don't you?
Admittedly, yeah, it can get pretty toasty in this thing.
Is it hard when your back starts to itch?
Oh, you bet. Plus, my shoulders get stiff wearing it, even if it's not all that heavy.
Kisara looks like she manages all right with her armor.
Armor takes a strong body and a stout heart.
Spoken like a true guardsman. Not that I really get what you mean.
The more I think about it, the more I realize what a pain it must be. Like, what do you do when you need to take a leak?
Ew!
That part can be a bit of a pain, yeah. More things to take off.
That sucks, man. Wouldn't it be easier if you just walked around outside of your armor most of the time instead?
You never know when the enemy might attack. As tempting as it might be to take it off, it's not worth getting killed over.
So basically, you're screwed if you ever get attacked while taking a dump. Right, Renwell?
Are you doing this on purpose?
So at this point, it's safe to say we've beaten all of those things that we saw flying out of the wedge, yeah?
Yes, there were 4 lights, so that should be all of them now.
They put up a good fight, but we beat them right back down again, huh?
Weren't you even a little scared while we were fighting them?
A little.
But we still managed to beat them with our own hands. That's what matters here.
Yeah, exactly!
I do hope that really is the last we see of them.
Each one seemed to be unique and correspond to a different element. I doubt there are more of them running around out there that we don't know about. Wouldn't you agree?
Why did you look at Dohalim when you said that?
No big reason. I just figured I stole some of his usual thunder by explaining it. I know how much he loves to do that.
You know him well at this point. Poodle, I've got some dried fish for you. You want some?
Forget that. Doesn't some tasty red meat sound better, boy?
Hey! Stop trying to coax him away with treats. Get your own adorable sidekick if you're so desperate for one.
He appears to enjoy being the center of attention.
Funny how things change. He and Rinwell used to be joined at the hip, or shoulder to talon.
It's not just Hootle who's become more trusting. Isn't that so, Rinwell?
They do say pets and their owners act alike. I suppose since we've been together, I've done my share of coming out of my own shell too.
Well then, I guess with you and Hootle, that makes us all one big happy family.
Sometimes when I'm deep in thought, Hootle will come over and sit next to me. I only wish I could actually pet him.
Oh, you will someday. You won't believe how soft he is.
Wish I had that problem. I'm lucky if I can so much as look at old Featherbrain without him trying to claw me to ribbons.
Really? He seems tame enough around everyone else. Maybe it's just Hootle's way of establishing dominance?
That's dogs, not owls.
What's going on when Hootle pecks at you?
I don't know. Like when I'm talking to Rinwell, it's like he's trying to muscle me out or something. Unless... Wait, you don't suppose I make him jealous?
Come again?
Ow! Get off of me, you insecure fluff ball!
I rather think they make a good comedic pairing.
Looks like it was well worth coming out here to the ocean to fish, judging by your haul.
Yeah, I can't complain with a catch like this. Dinner tonight's going to be a real good one.
Hell yeah!
What do you care? You're always happy as long as you're full.
Not always. I mean, okay, yeah, sure. Having a full stomach is close to the maximum amount of happy I can be. But Kisara's cooking is just so amazing. Even you can't deny that.
Well, sorry for not being able to cook as good as her then.
What? That's not what I said at all.
Anyway, what are you planning to do with that fish? Grill it? Turn it into a sashimi? Personally, my vote's for something Kisara?
Sorry. Can you, not talk to me? Right now?
Hey, are you all right? Your face is as white as a ghost.
It might be more accurate to say green.
What happened? She was doing okay until just a few seconds ago.
Actually, I think I remember her mentioning at one point that she felt pretty seasick. But we've been out here for a while now. Maybe it doesn't hit her when she's concentrating on something.
I think that means yes?
I'm sorry. I've never seen anyone look so ill before.
Don't worry about dinner right now. You just get some rest, okay?
Everything okay with Hootle, Rinwell? He seems kinda out of spirits.
It must be the heat getting to him. We don't get these kind of temperatures back in Cislodia.
Galaglians born and raised here struggle with it too, so it's no surprise.
Aha! So that's why his plumage is so white. He was born in a winter wonderland.
Actually, Dan and owls absorb the astral energy of whatever land they're raised in. Where they're born doesn't affect their appearance at all. But that's not why he's white. The real reason is that he's still just a baby.
You mean their plumage changes color depending on where they grow up? Weird.
And with all this traveling we've been doing, it wouldn't surprise me if his wings ended up looking like a colorful painting.
I think he suits his snowy complexion. It'll feel strange to see him change.
How awesome would it be if his head and wings were different colors? And his stomach and sides, like a map of our travels! Ow, lay off, will ya? So much for the heat making him docile!
You've only yourself to blame for that one. Hootle takes pride in his appearance, you know.
Fascinating. An appreciation of aesthetic beauty in an owlet so young.
Dohalim, I think you've drawn his attention.
You okay, Law? You seem kind of quiet.
I'm fine. Just feels a little weird returning home now that my dad's not here, I guess. Oh man, sorry. I didn't mean to bum you out too.
So I guess that means you'll be visiting your dad's grave while you're here. Right, Law?
His grave? What are you, nuts? There is no grave. The Rena would only destroy it the moment they found it.
Back before Calaglia was liberated, dead slaves would be dumped in mass burial sites. Either that or thrown on top of a bonfire. We got used to cremating our own to deny them the pleasure. Then we'd sprinkle the ashes from high up as a way of returning them to the motherland.
It's all we could do. That's the ceremony we had when my mom died, too.
But that was back then, right? Calaglia is liberated now. There's nothing to stop you from raising a true grave anymore.
I suppose you've got a point. Once you've been doing something for generations, though, it sort of begins to take root. It's a tradition of its own now.
My dad wouldn't want that anyway. Cheap and simple, he'd say. Besides, I can't treat him differently than my mom. They might not end up meeting on the other side.
I hadn't thought of it like that. Wow, imagine. The two of them reunited, back home where they belong. They're probably watching over us right now, at one with Great Dana. There's something almost poetic about it.
That's why I can't afford to screw up. If I know my pops, something as paltry as death won't stop him from coming to box my ears. Still, better than being left alone, I guess. Better than never knowing. You hear that, Dad? I'll make you proud. You'll see.
Kisara, that was amazing! Your rod was flashing like a sword! First this way, then that way, it was crazy!
Indeed. That fish was quite fearsome in its own right. I applaud your tremendous skills in taming such an unwieldy beast.
What he said when you slammed your foot down and gave it that... It got me so pumped!
Yes, it was quite the impressive war cry, I must say.
Anyway, what did you catch?
Oh, right. This is a silver marlin, the king of the seas, as they call it. I wanted to try to catch one at some point while we were out at sea.
It almost looks like a sword blade with that intense sheen.
It really does. With a head as sharp as that, I bet you could fight with it if you had to.
If you could properly wield it, that is. Bear in mind, the marlin is known to be rather heavy for a fish.
Well, if anyone could, it's probably Kisara, right? I mean, hell, she reeled in the damn thing.
Not that you aren't doing great already, Kisara. Your strength is often the only thing between our enemies and us.
Yeah. Every time you lift up that shield, I'm glad you're on our side, Kisara.
You're so stupidly strong, nothing can match your brute strength.
Stupid? Brute?
The only thing that could match it may be your sheer stupidity.
What? Where'd that come from? What? Hey guys, I don't see any of our food anywhere.
What?
I know! The bag we kept it all in has vanished! Some Zougals must have gotten in behind us and swiped the whole thing while we were fighting.
What?
Huh? What are you guys talking about?
This affects you too, you know! We lost all our food, including all those sweets you love so frickin' much!
What? How could this happen? Those sweets are the highlight of my day! Oh, so hungry.
Hunger is like that. The moment you know there's nothing you can do about it, it becomes that much more unbearable.
Whoever did this, I swear I'm gonna make them pay for stealing our supplies.
All that's left now is this one lonesome apple.
Law?
What? Hey, don't look at me like that. I picked this apple myself. I'm not just gonna...
Food.
Hand it over.
Stay away! Ah!
Hey, I'm back. Huh? What the heck happened here?
Only a poignant reminder of how dangerous a food shortage can be in a collective. A serious problem indeed. And one we should all be mindful of.
I see. Does it have anything to do with why you're holding our food supply bag behind your back?
Hey, Alphen. Why do you like spicy food so much anyway?
You know, I haven't thought about that before. Maybe because when I couldn't feel pain, it gave me that kick I was craving.
But now that you can feel pain again, wouldn't your tastes have changed?
Did you like spicy food when you were younger?
Not as much as I do now. At some point, it just became something almost like an addiction, I guess.
I can most certainly relate. Once you've had your fill of ordinary food, you cannot help but seek out more unusual fare.
I don't think that's got anything to do with Alphen's tastes. Although I won't deny that you definitely have a thing for exotic food. The stranger the better.
I just wish I could have gotten you into sweets like me, Alphen.
I like food that's dense and keeps you feeling full myself. It helps you last longer when you're on the move.
We all know you're a quantity over quality kind of.
What was that?
Nothing. I lost my train of thought.
You know, I've also noticed Shion's not really into the same kind of food most Renans are. Could be it's got something to do with the way she grew up.
That's so me. Even when I was little, I was all about food that gives me strength. All meat, all the time.
And I guess Kisara is so good at cooking fish because she can catch them herself.
I'm only good with fish because it used to be the easiest thing to get. When you work with something long enough, it comes naturally to you.
I like fish just fine. But what I really like about your cooking is how it tastes homemade. It reminds me of what my mom used to make.
Really? You know, I used to cook a lot of meals for younger kids, and they said the same thing.
When you get down to it, I guess the things a person cooks and the foods they like say a lot about the way they've lived. Shion, about that fight just now.
Sorry about that. I was careless.
I didn't come to criticize you. Just please take better care of yourself.
You don't need to worry about me. In case you forgot, I can't exactly die anyway. It's like how you used to not care about getting beat up because you couldn't feel pain, and then I was the one to patch you up. It's the same thing.
You're right. That is how I used to be. But this isn't the same.
Then what do you mean? How is what's happening now different from what happened then?
It's different now.
Look, if you mean because you can feel pain again,
It's because I don't want to see you getting hurt. You're right. When I couldn't feel any pain, I put myself in all sorts of dangerous situations. I didn't listen to anybody's warnings, and I made a lot of people worried for no good reason. It was foolish. This isn't about you and me being able to take pain. I don't want to have to see you get hurt, Shion. It's too much for me to take. Is that a crazy thing to say?
No, it isn't. And I definitely don't like seeing you get hurt either, Alphen. We can't expect our enemies to show us any mercy, but I will do my best not to throw myself in harm's way out there either. How does that sound?
I'm sorry if I sounded harsh earlier. I didn't mean to. I just really want you to take better care of yourself.
I will. At least, for as long as I can.
I love how much amazing food we get to eat even when we're out on the road.
Me too, especially compared to what I used to have when I was still a slave. This is paradise.
It's amazing what good food can do to keep your hopes up. Nagal used to say all the time that the power of food is subtle, yet profound.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? For whatever reason, I find I don't worry nearly as much when I've got a full stomach helping me out.
That's why you shouldn't be such a picky eater.
Huh?
She's right. You always leave food that you don't like on your plate when you're done.
Come on, what's the big deal?
Back in the day, I couldn't think about leaving any food. It was such a waste not to eat at all. You needed every last scrap of energy.
Exactly. Even when my brother and I didn't have much to eat, we all did what we could to make it taste good and enjoy what we had.
That definitely explains a lot about why you cook the way you do, Kisara.
Dohalim, I bet you don't know what any of that's like. You must be used to food being handed to you on a silver platter.
Sometimes it was gold.
You didn't shy away from that at all.
Although, there was one experience that does come to mind.
Oh?
When I first learned that the food I ate originally came from animals and fish, I was rather taken aback.
You just ate whatever was in front of you without even thinking about it?
That's a silver spoon elite for you.
Your cooking has really improved, Shion.
It's because of you that I understand what makes it so fun. I'm glad everyone seems to enjoy what I make too.
I've noticed a disturbing trend that after it's your turn to cook, our ingredients tend to run really low. What's up with that?
That is a good point, Law. There's a weird difference between the amount of ingredients she prepares and how much food actually gets served. Curious. Very curious indeed.
I don't know. Isn't it pretty normal for veggies to shrink a little when you fry them up?
Or maybe she eats all the bad batches herself so we won't notice.
Come on, I wouldn't do anything like that.
Then how would you explain the difference?
Ahem. I have a theory that I wish to propose.
What is it?
As we all know, Shion here can have quite the appetite. I imagine she often taste tests her own food as she prepares it. By my eye, it would appear that her footprints are leaving deeper impressions as of late. Far be it from me to level such an accusation, but the facts lead me to conclude that...
She's been snacking while she cooks.
And yet, she still looks so slender in her clothing.
Yeah, I'm kind of envious, actually.
Wait a sec, are you guys trying to say she's...
I'm what?
Nothing?
Nothing.
Shion, just in the nick of time. Here, lend me a hand while I...
No!
What the... Oh, right. The thorns. My bad.
No, I'm the one who should apologize. I overreacted.
Again, Law? Can't you even go a minute without putting your foot in your mouth?
Seriously, it's fine. I'd rather that than people feeling like they're walking on eggshells around me. Besides, I'm the one who should be vigilant about not touching you guys, not the other way around.
Actually, I've been meaning to ask. Not being able to touch people. Does it ever get lonely sometimes?
I guess I never really thought about it in those terms. It was either accept it for what it was or come undone. Before long, it was just part of my everyday reality. I think I even forgot there was another way to live. Which isn't to say I didn't feel alone. I did. Always.
So numb to your reality, you couldn't even recognize it as loneliness? I don't know how you managed.
It's fine. I know I'm not alone anymore.
But I can't even touch you. No way of lending you a shoulder when you're down? Even Alphen.
I appreciate the concern. Until I get rid of these thorns, I guess I'll have to put up with it just a little longer. But not forever. Alphen promised me that. Maybe it'll be soon, maybe it won't be. But either way, the day will come. And I'll be ready when it does.
Yeah, just hang in there. One day, we'll share a big warm hug. You'll see. I promise.
Tell me, Dohalim, has that skill of yours got a name?
And what skill would this be, pray tell?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
I do. It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around your finger in no time.
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the beholder.
So there is a knack to it! How do you learn it? Can anyone do it?
Now you've got me curious. Is there special training to master?
Let's see. An obsession with being elegant is a must. Oh, and it helps to be old-fashioned, too. Bonus points if you speak in a way no one can understand.
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
What? They look up to you, that's all. I'm just helping them along.
Hey! What's got into Alvin and Law all of a sudden?
I can barely understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses? Was it something they ate?
I hope you're willing to take the blame for this one.
I wasn't expecting them to take me so seriously. I'll go and have a word with them.
Kisara? Anyone at home in there?
Sorry. Did I look distracted?
Among other things. To be entirely honest, I couldn't tell whether you were smiling or frowning.
You were thinking about Dohalim, weren't you?
That obvious, huh? I was just thinking how good it is to see him moving forward at last. It was always so infuriating, knowing how capable he could be if he just put his mind to it. A prisoner trapped in a cage of his own self-doubt. But now, he's finally beginning to spread his wings. I'm happy for him.
So, then why do you look so sad?
Oh, I don't know if I'd say sad. There's a bittersweetness to it, I guess. It's good and strange, knowing that he won't be needing me anymore. It probably sounds weird, doesn't it? I have this massive worry off my mind. I should be jumping up and down for joy, right?
Must be that maternal instinct of yours at work.
Rinwell's right. You're like a mother bird, finally letting go as her child takes his first shaking and nervous flight from the nest.
A pretty big child.
That's one way to look at it. I wouldn't like to see Dohalim's face if he heard you say that. All this has made me realize I can't allow myself to become a prisoner of my own making like he was. If Dohalim can forge his own path ahead, then I can too. I won't be left behind.
Phew. Damn, I can't believe I'm still standing after that.
Nice, Alvin! You did it!
You cleared the solo fights! That's amazing!
Are you all right? You're not hurt, are you?
I'm fine, really. Just a little wiped is all. Truth be told, I'm just glad to see all that hard training paid off in the end.
That was simply marvelous, Alvin. Were I still a lord, I would happily extend an invitation to join the Menancian Guards.
Now that would have been interesting. I bet he would have made a good guardsman.
Sure. But then we wouldn't have him with us to complete our quest.
True. There'd still be a lot of walls for us to tear down if I left to join the Guardsmen.
A valid point, and one that I hadn't considered. Forget that I ever said anything.
I'm only as strong as I am today because of all of you. Everything we've done as a group brought me here. I can't even begin to say how thankful I am to know each and every one of you. Truly. Thank you, everyone.
Well, how do you think I did?
What do I think? I think you did one hell of a job. Just what made you decide to go all the way and get so strong?
I guess you could say pride. Once I set my mind on doing something, I can't rest until I see it through to the end. Although, after a while, I did want to put myself to the test and see how strong I am. That was definitely part of it, too.
I can understand that. Always feels great when you can tell you're really honing your techniques.
You look like a queen at this point, Xion. No joke.
A queen?
Yeah. You brush enemies aside like it's nothing and don't let them get in close. You are really cool out there.
I mean, I was just doing that to be cautious. I can't afford to let anyone get close since I use a gun and all.
Regardless, you still came out on top all by yourself. Congrats, Xion. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Alphen. Now that I'm so strong, I'm thinking I might want to face off against you next.
I'll give it some thought.
We did it, Hootle! We crushed the competition!
You've gotten way stronger since we first met you in Calaglia, Rinwell.
You wouldn't think she's a hardened fighter from how excited she looks.
Nothing wrong with that. It's good to see her smiling. What's gotten into you?
Birds are sometimes known to act aggressively towards those who get close to their chosen partners. Perhaps something similar is taking place here.
Huh? What are you talking about? Nah, no way. I ain't interested in some tomboy like... Stop it! How do I get him to leave me alone?
Maybe he's just upset because you haven't congratulated her yet. Did you think of that, Law?
Wow, Rinwell! You did such a great job! You're so amazing!
What's gotten into you?
I'm just trying to compliment you on a job well done!
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, sure. You're welcome. Hell yeah! Look who cleared the solo fights!
That was great. You really earned it.
I barely broke a sweat doing all that. All in a day's work for the likes of me.
I'd argue that at times things looked rather harrowing for you. Nevertheless, I'm glad to see you emerge safe and victorious.
Can't you see how excited he is? Maybe next time hold your tongue before you rain on someone's parade.
You're right. He can always reflect on what he did wrong later.
Hey, are you guys saying I...
You did good, Law. I can tell that your mind and techniques have really improved.
Alphen, thanks, man! I'll always follow you wherever you go. You can count on it.
Looks like I pulled through. Glad to see I can still do the guard proud.
I'd say what you've done will truly inspire the other guardsmen. Few of them enlisted today could do what you've accomplished here.
Man, being a guardsman sounds rough. You've still got to carry that kind of a weight on your shoulders even after you leave.
If only I'd reached this point sooner. Perhaps my brother would have opened up to me more while he was still alive. I feel like I failed him as a sister.
In hindsight, Miguel was always concerned for your well-being.
He was? I knew it. Of course he was. He must have thought I was far too weak to ever be a
As I recall, he worried that if you became too strong, any potential suitors would be frightened away.
Suitors?
Dohalim. Did you really think that was an appropriate topic to bring up right now?
Why? Was I out of line somehow?
I don't think you need to worry, Kisara. Everyone knows you're good at cooking.
Right, and you know how to fish, which means you can carry your own weight outdoors, too.
I don't know if telling her that is going to help in the way you guys think it will.
No, it's nice to hear that my skills are so appreciated, after all. Thank you, Alphen.
I suppose that makes you something of a wild guardsman, then.
Dohalim, please stop talking.
Now that's what I like to see. Nice work, you guys. We really tore through those group battles.
We did great, and I'm just as amazed as everyone else, but was this really an efficient use of our time?
Considering what lies ahead on our journey, I'd say our time training here will prove valuable going forward.
Indeed. If we are to change things for the better, the challenges we face are ones that shall require us to fight at the absolute top of our abilities.
These exercises really brought home the fact that I'm not alone in this fight. That's enough to make this training worth it for me.
Why are you guys all acting so serious? We won those fights as a team! Come on, you should be way more excited! Give me a cheer!
You're right. What we did here is more than just proof of how far we've come and how much we've grown. It proved the strength of our bonds together. I'm sorry. I guess I shouldn't worry so much.
You needn't apologize. At any rate, I think a small toast is in order for us this evening.
In that case, I'll make sure to cook something extra special for dinner as well.
You guys, you're not listening to me!
We hear you, Law, don't worry. Once we've actually saved the world from destruction, you can be sure we'll be letting loose celebrating it.
Oh, that's a promise, you hear? Can't go back on it now!
Yeah, I'll have to practice to get ready for it.
Practice?
I never realized before just how hot this place is. It's like being inside a fire.
You're only just noticing? Ah, yes, forgive me. The whole lack of sensory feedback situation.
That's the one. It's hard to believe I once worked in this soup, let alone helped spearhead a revolution.
And all with the mask concealing your face. It must have been very grimy beneath that.
Back then, we had our plates full enough dealing with constant abuse from our Renan overlords. It never occurred to me the air itself was oppressive in its own way. My head's spinning just with the effort it takes to walk.
I think that's called heat stroke. You might want to take a sip of water.
You mean that water that's been festering under the sun for days? I wouldn't chance it without boiling it first.
Oh, I know! I'll go to the dock and fetch us some clean water.
Water alone won't suffice. He'll need to ensure his sodium levels are replenished as well.
In that case, let's see if we can rustle up some rock salt. Alphen, you go cool off in the shade for a while. Xion, stay and keep an eye on him.
And then there were two.
Bit of an overreaction, but it's still kind of them.
Maybe it's not the time, but this place brings back memories.
I know what you mean. We're back where it all started.
You don't ever regret meeting me sometimes, do you?
Are you kidding? You started all of this. Bringing down the wall, retrieving my sense of self. I have no regrets.
Welcome back, Law.
Maybe it's the snow soaking up all the sound, but something about Cislodia always feels mysterious to me. Solemn, almost.
When it comes to solemnity, I'd say our own Octalina Palace is no slouch.
I won't argue with you there. Still, that azure tint of the shadows on the silvery white snow, it has a certain indescribable quality.
Indeed. It was boorish of me to even suggest such a comparison.
All I know is it's freaking cold. Still, more pleasant now that the locals aren't quite as frosty towards us.
Well, excuse me if I'm too frosty for your warm self.
Oh, come on! You know I didn't mean you. Besides, really, I'm the one who...
How about we stop getting hung up on the past for a change? Take what you've learned and put it to use in the future instead.
An unexamined past can be just as dangerous in its own right.
Better that than obsessing over it like a certain someone I know.
Kisara doesn't mince her words, does she?
I could say the same thing about one or two of the other women around here.
Tell me about it.
I think I'll refrain from commenting on this one.
Sure is good to be back in the pleasant climes of Menancia. Especially after the extremes of some of the other regions we visited.
Definitely. Your country is beautiful.
You do me an honor. However, this place was never mine to own.
I didn't mean it that way. Though, I guess technically you weren't born here either. Native or not, that doesn't change the feelings you had for the place. If I were you, I'd try to take a little pride in people's compliments.
Allow myself to feel pride, huh? That sounds like no easy task.
Nothing sounds easy when you overthink things the way you do. It must be exhausting.
He's always worrying about something. It's probably what gives him his eye for detail. That's just the way he is.
Yeah, so we'd noticed.
Let's change the subject, shall we? It's a wonder so many things coincided to bring us here. Alphen's awakening, Shion's decision to revolt, the Danon uprising in Calaglia, the Crown Contest's final, sputtering throws.
Zephyr's being in the right place at the right time. The fact that you happened to be a lord just as this was all going on.
It's almost as if we were brought together by design. By someone who wanted to bring down the system.
No, enough Hand of Destiny talk. We did this on our own steam. It's our responsibility to see it through.
Did Law just utter a pearl of wisdom?
I do think about things, you know. Just what do you take me for exactly?
Honestly, I always sort of pegged you as a likable dolt.
What the hell makes me a dolt, you dolt?
I mean, she did say he was a likable dolt, didn't she?
Let's refrain from poking this particular Zougal any further. Some lessons just can't be taught.
Not to dolts, anyway.
Everything okay there, big guy? You look kinda pissed.
I'll say. He looks like he wants to bite the head off something.
What's eating at you? Come on, Alphen. You're gonna bring us all down if you keep that ferocious scowl on.
Oh, sorry. Do I really look that ticked off?
Yeah, it kinda makes you hard to talk to. So, what's bothering you?
It's a pebble.
A pebble?
Snuck its way into the back of my boot. I can't seem to get rid of it.
Oh, I totally get you. Weird how much it can get on your nerves, huh?
Yeah, it's barely bigger than a grain of sand. So how come it feels like I'm walking around on hot nails?
You know, maybe this is a crazy solution, but you could just take your boot off and give it a shake.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. You're right. Phew. It's like I've been given a new lease on life. Thanks for the tip, Shion.
Seemed kind of obvious, but you're welcome? That's the trouble with windy places. All that fine debris ends up getting into your hair and clothes.
Alphen, is it just me, or have you become extra sensitive ever since getting your sense of pain back?
Now that you mention it, the other night at camp, there was a fly buzzing around that annoyed him so much, he unsheathed the blazing sword.
So much for sensitive. That's just being a Mr. Cranky Pants.
Nothing new on that front, then.
What's the matter, Alphen? You look a little tense.
It's nothing, really.
He wants to get angry, but knows that doing so would only prove our point. Hence the building frustration showing plainly on his face.
Would you stop analyzing things for 1 minute?
Point taken.
Even after staying here, we never truly got to the bottom of what makes this realm's citizens tick.
Renan and Danon are meaningless distinctions here. To have one's own mind is strictly forbidden. All that matters is blind obedience.
That might be the case now, but it can't always have been like that. There must have been something more.
Once, maybe. Question is that something still salvageable?
If it's not, we'll just have to make something new. No, not we. They've had enough foisted on them as it is.
You're right. It's time the people here had the chance to forge their own path. That's not to say it'll be easy, but it will be worthwhile.
These things take time to... What the? An ambush?
Sorry. Sorry. There was a huge flying bug and I sort of shot without thinking.
A bug? You mean like a Zougal?
Something tells me she would have shot it, whether it was a Zougal or not.
This realm is teeming with humid forests. It's only natural insects would feel more at home here than Menancia. In fact, I seem to recall reading somewhere that bugs around these parts lay their eggs in human food to ensure healthy incubation.
Sounds like they're tougher than they look.
What about you, Alphen? Bugs don't creep you out?
I wouldn't say I was their #1 fan. Mind you, if times get desperate enough, I've been known to eat them.
Insects as a culinary option, you say? What kind of seasoning are we talking?
Dohalim, I don't think he was talking about cooking them.
Hey, a lizard! Hey, Rinwell, tell me about your parents. What were they like?
They were kind. That's the part I like to remember. They could also be strict, though, especially when it came to magic. I never understood why I had to work so hard to learn magic. Why we couldn't just be done with it and live openly like everyone else. Needless to say, that didn't go over well. Of course, if I'd had known that one day I'd be doing this, I would have taken my studies more seriously. What about your parents?
Same deal. Run through the mill. Told constantly that training was the only way to survive in a world like this. It got bad enough that I ended up running away and siding with the Renans of all people. And now, I've got that training to thank for being alive.
I know how that feels.
The first time we met, you risked using your magic to stop me from kicking my dad's ass. You could have done anything else. You could have ignored it. So, why?
Yeah, I guess something about Zephyr reminded me of my own father.
You don't say. So, did your pops and mine look a lot like each other?
Not really. Not at all, in fact. I don't know how to explain it. I just felt a resemblance, I guess.
Wow. Well, I won't pretend I understand, but I'm glad. Your dad must have been a great guy.
He was. Hey! Hey, I just realized something!
Is this about dinner last night? I didn't realize those ingredients were off.
What? No! I mean, wait, you fed us rotten food?
Rinwell, the point.
Oh, yeah, right. So I was thinking about those armored soldiers we've seen. There are regular Renans inside them, right?
Yeah, they're designed to make whoever's wearing them stronger. At least, I think that's the idea.
Right. So it kind of begs the question then, why are they made so huge?
I don't know, makes them more intimidating, I guess? Or maybe all that tech wizardry inside takes up a lot of space.
You don't think it's weird how the armored soldiers are the exact same height as the Helganquil?
Can't say I'd ever noticed it till now. And?
Connect the dots, Law!
Okay, let me get this straight. You think the armored suits might have originally been designed to allow Renans to work alongside the Helganquil?
Huh. But if that's true, what would that mean?
It would mean... just that, I guess. But still, don't you think it's kind of interesting?
Not hugely. Hey, Kisara, while I've got you, what's on tonight's menu? Because I was thinking, maybe meat?
Get him, Hoodle.
What did I do?
Oh, now you want to listen. Keep pecking, Hoodle!
Ow! Seriously, what the hell?
I wonder what Helganquil civilization was like at its zenith.
I can imagine that'd be something you'd take an interest in.
There's no question it must have been advanced, like none either world has ever seen. We could surely stand to learn a thing or two from such a people.
I get that you're itching to delve into its history, but we've got bigger fish to fry right now.
Put a pin in it, and you can do all the research you want when you retire.
I can think of worse things than a retirement dedicated to research. As for whether Rena is amenable to an aging specimen...
It's a little early to be giving it serious thought just yet.
A man can dream, though. A man can dream.
Oh, we didn't say there's anything wrong with dreaming.
In your case, Dohalim, dreams have a habit of spiraling into something else.
You'll need to stay with us for now, though. You're too helpful to let retire.
Why do I feel this is less of a compliment and more of an ultimatum?
Just a friendly suggestion.
Question for you. Let's say knock on wood, everything turns out for the best.
What'll the world be like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, do you really think everything will be that different?
A lot will have to change, that's for sure. The world will have to adjust to so much. My only worry is if those changes turn out to be merely skin deep.
What do you mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renin rule. But if it just turns the tables, it's all for naught.
That's true. Just as bad if the Danans started pressing their own.
Renins, Danans, astral art users, mages. The world is full of labels used to divide and separate people.
If only we could see differences like that for what they are. No different to someone having a musical talent or being good with their hands. Not differences so much as characteristics.
It will take someone in power to set an example. But with time, people will follow. And then, perhaps one day...
There will no longer be any need for the example. It will have become second nature.
That's where we come in. We can set the example. Imagine it. A world where magic and astral arts are used to help people. Where that's the norm rather than the exception.
Yeah, you're right, Rinwell. Why wait for somebody else? We can show them ourselves.
Hey, Xion. How are you and Alphen getting on these days?
That's a little out of the blue. Why do you ask?
Sorry, it's just... I don't know, I'm just curious, I guess. I mean, a lot's changed now he's got his senses back and all.
I suppose you're right. Well, to tell you the truth, if he'd been the way he is now back when I'd first met him, I probably wouldn't have gotten this involved. But then, if we hadn't met like we did, then I never would have experienced these feelings, so... I guess it's complicated.
I can imagine. I know it's not the same thing, but I know what it feels like to have someone you love who's out of reach.
Because of Miguel.
Alphen's still alive. It's not too late, you know. And after all, who can say what the future holds? I think if I were you, I'd take things as they come for now.
Besides, touch isn't everything. I've never touched you, Xion, but that doesn't stop you from knowing that I care about you, right?
That's true. But I do remember back when we first met, you made it plenty clear you weren't my biggest fan.
But that was a long time ago. There were lots of things I didn't understand back then. Not that that's the point.
Don't worry, I'm only teasing. I know what you mean. Thank you. And you're right. There are ways to convey your feelings besides just touching.
I'll say, cooking immediately springs to mind. And if it's someone's favorite dish, all the better. If there's something on your mind that you want to tell him, why not try appealing directly to his stomach?
You might just have a point. I'll give it a shot.
Uh-oh. If it's Alphen's palate you're appealing to, that doesn't bode well for the rest of us.
Well, friendship is about being supportive. Sometimes we just have to do our best and take one for the team, right? Hey, Law. Been training?
Yeah, I guess I got a little carried away. You think this is bad, you should see the state of my underwear.
Yeah. A word of advice. You might want to refrain from mentioning that stuff around girls. Ones without a military history especially.
Man, can you imagine Rinwell's face? She'd have a nervous breakdown.
I meant in general, but you sure mention her a lot, you know.
Huh? Oh, you know, she's always there, even when you least expect it. Springs to mind easily.
Either that, or maybe some part of you is subconsciously always wishing she was there.
May the trials and tribulations of young romance never change.
Romance? Like I'd be interested in that know-it-all tomboy. I'm more about mature women. Someone more like Kisara.
You know, I used to be a tomboy too when I was Rinwell's age.
Look, it's not tomboys I have anything against. But come on, you've got to admit she can be a lot to handle.
Hey, I miss anything? What's all the fuss about?
Rinwell.
Thunderblade!
Ah! What the hell was that for?
A little birdie told me you were speaking about me behind my back. Whew!
From the looks of it, I'd say you've got yourself a rival.
It wouldn't be called the Spring of Youth without a little storm every now and then.
Hey, Kisara, what's your secret for putting up with Dohalim? I don't know how you managed to deal with him.
Secret? Oh, I don't think it's as difficult as all that, really.
Could have had me fooled. Anyone who waxes lyrical on the aesthetic qualities of cactus thorns is a step too far for me.
And those poetic flourishes he sneaks into regular conversation? How am I supposed to react?
He likes the sound of his own voice, that's for sure. I say let him have his fun. No need to try and understand anything he says.
Has he always been like that?
He didn't seem as on edge all the time back in Menancia. Though he was my superior back then. So who's to say what I didn't see?
The Lord of Cislodia hid in plain sight while a crony posing as him carried out all his business. What if the Lord we met in Vicente was really...
An imposter? Dohalim? Hardly. Like it or not, that's him all right. In all his flamboyant, circumloquacious glory.
I'd like to see someone try to impersonate that on a daily basis.
Come to think of it, what with being a lord and all, he's probably never had anyone to speak to on an equal basis.
It wouldn't surprise me. Having you guys around, having a family in a way, must be what's helped him change.
A little heads up on some of his eccentricities would have been nice.
It's those eccentricities that make him who he is.
What do you all say to taking the path less trodden for once?
Path? I don't see any path.
Do you mean that thing that looks like an animal trail? Path may be a generous term. I'm assuming you know where it leads?
My gut says to a bridge.
Hoodle says your gut's wrong.
Really? Well, it is definitely in the right general direction.
Not that main roads are necessarily danger-free, but he does have an uncanny knack for insisting on some strange and unique routes.
Alphen always did like a challenge. Can't say I appreciate some of the more daredevil ways he's taken us, though.
Like the landslide he insisted was a shortcut before disappearing off the edge, nearly gave me a heart attack.
I'll say, yet the intrepid explorer looked as happy as a pig in muck.
Probably best we stick to doing our own orienteering in the future.
Hey, so what about this route then?
Maybe if we pretend we can't hear him.
Don't you think the path forward is fraught enough without making extra problems for ourselves? Maybe best to reel it back.
Good point. I say we stick to the main track like regular travelers for once.
Guys? I will break down this wall! Got some interesting moves there, Dohalim. I'm glad you're on our side.
I'm simply glad to hear that I can make myself useful to you all. Huh?
What's wrong?
We seem to have come across some rather unusual objects.
What, you mean that pile of garbage?
No mere garbage, I assure you. Still, I've never seen anything shaped like it before. I'm intrigued.
Are you curious about this stuff, Rinwell?
Yeah. I think he might have found some old Danon relics. They look like the remains of a bunch of objects that disappeared after the Renans first invaded.
And yet here I am, holding them without so much as a second thought. I imagine the sight must be unsettling to you.
Not really, just that it must be nice to be a Renan who has time to indulge in stuff like that, unlike the rest of us.
Are you interested in this stuff too, Dohalim?
Charmed may be a better turn of phrase. I simply love objects that can give me a sense of what their maker was thinking, the history that went into their creation. You see, we Renans have hardly any such objects that trace back to our distant past.
I still don't understand what you two find so intriguing about it, though.
Why not? We're talking about our own culture here.
I get that, but it's not like this stuff is any use now, does it? It's just old. Real old.
Oh, but it does. Holding it in your hands like this, one can feel and engage with the distant past in a way no history book can ever accomplish.
I'll take your word for it. Well, seeing as it's down in history, just make sure you're careful with it. All right, Dohalim?
But of course.
You've collected an awful lot of those objects. You sure it's not just
Hush. Be quiet for a moment. The pieces speak to me.
What?
These relics that have scattered about. I can hear them whispering, longing to reunite with their lost friends and become one again.
Really? Do you hear any voices coming from them, Rinwell?
What? No! Don't get me wrong. I'm really interested in these things too, but I'm not crazy.
But don't you sometimes mutter stuff like, "Come to me, astral energy," when you cast your arts?
You're right. Oh my gosh. Are Dohalim and I actually alike?
Its charm really shines through now that it's been reassembled. Its streamlined shape, its geometric patterns. This is no mere amateur's work.
He's in his own little world at this point.
You get just like him when it comes to weapons, you know.
You're right. Oh my gosh. Am I just like Dohalim?
Huh? Why are you guys so quiet all of a sudden?
I see you've got your relics all lined up again. What are you doing? Huh? They're so bright now.
Oh, it's you two. I was merely tending to my collection.
Don't you think you've polished them enough by now?
You take better care of your relics than you do yourself.
I try to take good care of them. However, no matter how much work I put in, it refused to respond.
I thought you could hear their voices somehow.
I can, but that's all I can do with them. I can't actually engage in conversation with them. Not yet.
What are they saying? Did they really want you to polish them that much?
You're right. I was so enraptured with them, I may have selfishly failed to consider their own wishes. I must open my mind and sincerely engage with them in earnest.
He never gets tired of his relics, does he?
Nope. It is interesting to look at them when they're all lined up together like this, though. Like how these two have similar designs. It makes me wonder if they were made in the same period.
An excellent observation. Yes, I too suspect they're somehow intimately related as well.
I don't see what you two are talking about at all.
What's this? Why, that smear wasn't there previously. Could it be responding to my voice at long last? It's rather viscous and has a distinct aroma to it.
Ugh, Hoodle! These relics are no place for you to do your business! Whew! I'm serious! These are priceless pieces of history!
Come on, Dohalim. Let's go wash your hands before you catch anything weird.
Are those two discussing relics again?
Then it's a promise.
Indeed it is.
Law, what are you doing?
Huh? Oh, Kisara. It's nothing. It's just, those two are being sneaky over there. I heard something about a promise.
A promise? If it has to do with relics, then what?
Wait. You don't think they're gonna ditch us to become treasure hunters, do you?
I really doubt that.
You never know. He's pretty damn crazy for those relics of his.
Yeah, that's true.
It'd make things difficult for you if they just up and disappeared on us, right?
Yeah, that'd cause some problems.
We've got to do something to stop them.
Hey, what if we collected all of the relics ourselves?
That's it! Then they wouldn't have to go anywhere!
We might not be able to hear them talk like he can, but we can still search for them anywhere that looks likely.
Yeah, between the two of us, I'm sure we won't miss a single one.
Speaking of which, why are you so concerned about them taking off?
Huh? Well, you see...
This is going to be so great!
Indeed. Once we're finished, we can hold it in the palace.
A Danon Relic exhibition!
I'll let you serve as our exhibit guide, Rinwell.
Right! I'll study up so I can answer any question they throw at me.
And, if you could, please ensure that Hootle stays far, far away from the exhibits.
Who?
Magnificent. To think that we could ever amass such a stunning array of Danon relics.
What do you think? Not a single piece missing.
Indeed. You and Law were especially diligent in finding them. You both have my gratitude.
So, this means you don't need to become treasure hunters, right?
Huh? What are you talking about?
I mean, that promise you were talking about earlier. You know, with Dohalim?
Oh, you mean the exhibit?
Exhibit?
Yeah. After collecting so many artifacts, we wanted to put them on display for people to see.
Renans have stolen so much Danon history. It feels only right to help revive it. However, the situation has changed. I think we should call off the exhibition.
Huh?
This collection deserves to have a permanent home. In other words, I propose that we open a museum.
Oh, that's a great idea!
I knew that you would agree. The relics seem to boisterously applaud the idea as well.
Not with that again.
Still, that's quite the elaborate plan you two have hatched.
Naturally, I trust that you'll handle the descriptions for each item, Rinwell.
Of course! I've got a lot of research ahead of me.
In that case, we should erect a research lab for your work.
Really? That'd be great, Dohalim!
What kind of research do you think you can do?
More than you can, fists for brains. Thumbing through piles of books, looking up relic structure and material composition. Maybe even testing how they react to arts. And, if necessary, I could always break them open and see what's inside.
Let's not get carried away here.
I'm just joking, of course. And you know, it'd be great if I could have an assistant. Someone who could run errands for me while I'm busy working.
Huh? Well, you know, I could.
It's good to dream big and all, you guys, but there's something you need to do first.
You're right, of course. There's only one thing we should be concerned with right now, and that is...
Cleaning up.
Yes, ma'am.
Look, it's all the owls we found. I guess this was their way of thanking us for finding them.
It looks like they're grouping up by color. Is that a thing?
Actually, the color of Danon owls' feathers is based on their maturity and their astral energy element. So maybe they stick to certain groups even if they all belong to the same kingdom.
Then I guess that means we can tell just how many owls we found in each domain.
They seem to be saying something.
Maybe they're thanking us for finding their buddies. Then again, maybe they're telling us that we have more owls to find.
I think the Queen is protesting that they shouldn't put undue pressure on us.
Maybe he's arguing back that we're the only ones they can actually turn to?
Right. Which is why the Queen is worried about sowing any ill will with us.
We'll do our best, so don't worry, I think.
Can you understand them?
Of course not. I'm just inferring. For some reason, when I hear them talk, That's just what I imagine them saying.
Oh, well, I think you're pretty close to the mark at least.
Well, don't worry about it. We're not breaking our backs over this. I think that was a thank you.
Seems like it, from both of them.
Hoodle seems happy with this. Isn't that nice, Rinwell?
Huh? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Looks like we got another reward.
I didn't realize that so many still remained. Danon owls truly are majestic indeed.
I thought the Danon owls had all but died out myself. That's what I get for making assumptions.
Just so we're clear, this place is supposed to be a secret.
Yes, I'm aware. Places like these should be kept out of the public eye.
It's a pity, though. With proper training, they could be made into a magnificent chorus.
What are they hooting about now?
Alphen and Xion can interpret for us, right?
Huh? Oh, no, I mean, it was just a lucky guess last time.
Yeah? Maybe you'll be lucky twice. Go on, give it a shot.
Really? Well, if you say so. Let's see. Listen to them. Are they really up to the task?
What do you mean? You're the one who put them in charge.
It's my responsibility to protect our friends.
Stop trying to take everything upon yourself.
This is what the owls are saying?
Of course.
I must say, though, we've found quite a number of owls. It's a testament to how much you care for Hoodle, Rinwell.
I wonder which branch Hoodle will perch on.
Rinwell?
Oh, nothing. Don't mind me. Well, come on. The perches are only half filled. We've got to find the rest of the owls.
Well, most of the perches are filled up now. Frankly, I'm amazed there's so many of these guys.
What cautious lives they must have lived. They deserve credit for their vitality.
They're all so lovely individually, but I think they look downright awe-inspiring, and so many of them are gathered together in one place.
I don't know. It's hard to relax with all of them eyeballing us at once.
Yeah, I guess owls do seem to stare.
You've done well.
He's at it again.
Come on, you know you like it.
Frankly, I never thought you'd gather so many of us.
You are so quick to rescue those in need. You have given us a big, happy family.
We're on the brink of extinction. We must work together if we are to change our fate.
You carry a heavy burden.
Don't you worry. We can change fate. You won't be alone. I promise.
This isn't just your fight. I'm here for you too. I want us both to be together.
That was you interpreting for the owls, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's nice to see everyone getting along, but perhaps we should be moving on.
Just who was that conversation between?
Try not to think about it too much. Besides, there's still a few empty perches left.
We've come this far? Why stop now, right?
Hey, Hoodle. Once we've managed to gather all the owls, after that...
Huh?